Member representing Ogbaru Federal Constituency of Anambra State in the House of Representatives, Afam Ogene, has appointed 70 constituency aides across Agbaru. Ogene stated that this move is a fulfillment of his commitment to delivering excellent service to his constituents. The appointee include advisor, special assistant, executive assistant, and others. Former Governor of Plateau State, Senator Simon Lalong, has criticized the delay in appointing a new minister for the state, urging President Bola Tinubu to address the issue promptly. Speaking at an APC stakeholders meeting at the party secretariat in Kalwa House, Jos, Lalong, the senator representing Plateau South, highlighted the state's 7-month absence of federal representation since he had resigned his ministerial post to join the Senate. As the race of the top job at the Dennis Osadabe Avenue reaches an intriguing phase, with campaign trains across 18 local government areas hitting up a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC, Pastor Osage Izeyamu has assured people of the state that the party is determined to implement the local government autonomy program without any delay. Anthony Momodu reports.
The former All Progressive Congress governorship candidate and former secretary to the government of Edo State, Pastor Ize Andrew Iyamo, has assured the Edo State people of Senator Monday Okpeholo's determination to implement the local government autonomy as soon as he wins at the polls.
The councils are going to become viable again. Their monies will be domiciled in their local governments. And it's for us now to ensure that there's accountability. Those who are there, we will hold them responsible for the funds that come. And we're going to demand from the federal government that what they used to do in the time of Dr. Mrs. Ngozi Iweala, when allocations are published, not just state by state, but local government by local government, should be reintroduced.
The APC chieftain called out the outgoing government for the poor state of affairs of the state and to be prepared to be probed.
We have had 8 years of very bad governance, 8 years of deceit, 8 years of lies in those states. When you consider the huge amount that's come to this state, and you see the so-called development, it's shameful. Everywhere they pretend they are doing projects, all uncompleted. Contractors not on site because they are not paid. But I want to believe that the Edo people will cry out for justice. Edo people realize that they are being short-charged.
As Nigerians warm up to the autonomy given to the local governments across the 36 states of the Federation, it is hoped that the 774 local government areas in the country would experience a new lease of life for the betterment of the people and the nation's democratic journey. Anthony Momodu reporting from Benin City for Global Television News.
In honor of the former secretary to the state's government, Michael Keloso, who died on Monday at the age of 86. Lawal, who led top government functionaries to pay a condolence visit to the family of the late former national chairman of the defunct Alliance for Democracy in his Akabo residence, gave this directive in Ibadan, the state capital. He described him as an astute politician, a survivor of knowledge for all politicians, and a patriot. Ahead of Kaduna State local government elections slated for October 19th, a coalition of civil society organizations has opposed a reversal of mutual voting by Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission. Addressing a joint press conference, Lawrence Obawe, the former and national coordinator of Reset Nigeria, and Bako Abdul, the national president of Campaign for Democracy, on behalf of other CSOs, also expressed deep concern over the proposed scrapping of the state independent electoral commissions and the plans to concentrate local government elections either under a new centralized body at the federal level or the Independent National Electoral Commission has been postponed. The Abia State government has concluded plans to train 2,000 master trainers for teachers in the state. The Commissioner for Information, OK Kanu, disclosed this while briefing the journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Alex Otti. He stated that 200 teachers have passed through the training, while the remaining 1,800 will have theirs soon. He said the Abia State Basic Education Board has screened, interviewed and shortlisted 40 teachers for training under the Abia State School Enhancement Team program. The management of Tai Salorin University Education, Ijagun, Ogun State, has rusticated 25 students and indefinitely suspended 58 others for various misconducts, including forgery, threats to life, examination malpractices, and other fraudulent acts. The university's registrar, Dakbo Oke, disclosed this in a statement. The disciplinary actions were recommended by the Examination Malpractice and Students Disciplinary Committee and approved by the Senate of the University of its statutory meeting on 31st July 2024. You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, Victor Osimhen receives hero's welcome from Katasari fans. Details of these and more right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On our business decks now, Nigeria has called for a more robust partnership with the United Nations to achieve sustainable agricultural development and food security. The appeal was made in Abuja during the visit of the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Dr. Amina Mohammed to Nigeria, where she held discussions with key stakeholders in the agriculture and food security sectors. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, while welcoming Mohammed, highlighted the crucial role that the United Nations has played in Nigerians' development. Aliko Dangote has revealed that petrol produced from his 650,000 barrels per day facility will hit the filling stations in the next 48 hours as modalities with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited are formalized. Dangote said this during a press briefing announcing the formal production of petrol at the refinery. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries oil output fell in August to its lowest since January. A Reuters survey found has shown. The survey release stated the unrest that disrupted Libyan supply added to the impact of ongoing voluntary supply cuts by other members and the wider OPEC alliance. The survey disclosed that OPEC pumped 26.36 million barrels per day last month, down 340,000 naira BPD from July, saying this was the lowest total since January 2024. The federal government has denied a report suggesting that the Ministry of Petroleum Resources ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to sell fuel at 1,000 naira above pump price. The report claimed that the Minister of Petroleum Resources Oil, Hadarin Lapobiri, gave the NNPCL the directive. Dismissing the report in a statement signed by the Special Advisor Media and Communications to Lapobiri, Inamaka Okafo, and made available to our correspondent, the federal government declared that the report was concocted and ill-conceived to sow discord and confusion in the oil industry. The Central Bank of Nigeria and Securities and Exchange Commission and Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation have joined forces to streamline the bank recapitalization process, aiming to enhance efficiency and transparency within the financial sector. In a statement made available, the Director General of SEC, Emomitsimi Agbama, highlighted that the collaboration is part of a broader effort to reduce time to market for capitalizing activities, making the Nigerian capital market more attractive to investors and issuers alike. Agbama explained that several initiatives have been implemented, including the introduction of an electronic filing system, streamlined registration processes, and updated regulatory framework. The federal government signed a memorandum of understanding with a Chinese company, Mutual Commitment Company Limited, for the assembly of electronic tricycles and established a renewable energy training center. The MOU signing ceremony, facilitated by the Rural Electrification Agency, was attended by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, and the Managing Director of REA, Mr. Abba Aliyu. The federal government, through the Nigerian Ports Authority, has handed over the Tinkan Island Water System Facility to Sawdust Tinkan Water Project Limited after it signed a 16-year concession agreement with a firm valued at 11 billion naira. The NPA disclosed that the concessionary would use this year to rebuild and rehabilitate the facility before the agreement will officially kick off on September 1st, 2025. Speaking during the handing over ceremony at Tinkan Island Port Complex, the Managing Director of NPA, Dr. Abubakar Dansoho, explained that concession agreement was born out of necessity, adding that most of the water treatment plants at the ports have gone moribund for decades. On our foreign scene now, as Nigerian leaders gather in Beijing this week for the Turning Out China-African Summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping may have one thing under his belt to boast about: satellite TV. Almost 9 years ago, President Xi promised the heads of state attending the Forum on China-African Cooperation in Johannesburg that China would provide over 10,000 remote villages in 23 African countries with digital TV access. With over 9,600 villages having received satellite infrastructure, the project is now nearing completion. A huge search and rescue operation is taking place in the English Channel after the boat carrying dozens of migrants capsized off the coast of Le Portel in northern France. A number of people are believed to be in critical condition, according to a French Coast Guard. Emergency services have been deployed in large numbers. Multiple cars traveling in motor car carrying Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the Democratic candidate for vice president, crashed in Milwaukee. Walz was not hurt. The crash happened on Monday. The cars involved were at the rear of the motor car and were carrying members of the press who traveled with Walz. Report says they were violently thrown forward about being hit from behind, sending their vehicles into the car in front of them. At least one person was injured. Russian President Vladimir Putin has arrived in Mongolia, his first visit to an international criminal court, ICC member since it issued a warrant for his arrest last year. He was welcomed by Mongolia's leader at the lavish ceremony in the Asian nation's capital, Ulaanbaatar. The Russian leader is wanted by the court of the alleged illegal deportation of Ukrainian children. A spokesperson from the Kremlin said it was not concerned Putin would be arrested during the visit. Pope Francis has arrived in the Indonesian capital, Jakarta, kicking off the longest and farthest trip of his tenure to the Asian-Pacific region. He is expected to highlight environmental concerns and the importance of interfaith dialogue during the 12-day trip, which will also see him to travel to Papua New Guinea, Singapore, and Timor Leste, and the only one of his 4 countries that is predominantly Catholic. The World Health Organization says polio vaccination of children in central Gaza have surpassed the target in the first 2 days of its immunization campaign. Dr. Rick Pippercorn, the UN agency representative in the Palestinian territory, said 161,030 children under the age of 10 were vaccinated on Sunday and Monday, above the projection of 156,500. The difference was probably the result of an underestimated of the population crowded into the area, he explained. In sports now, thousands of Galatasaray fans gathered at the Istanbul airport, Turkey, to welcome Super Eagles star Victor Osimhen with enthusiasm and excitement. Despite arriving at 3:30 a.m., Osimhen was met with cheers and chants. He appeared thrilled as the fans sang and chanted his name, creating a memorable moment. The warm reception marked the beginning of Osimhen's loan move with Napoli to Galatasaray, a deal completed after the European transfer window closed. Still on sports, Super Eagles captain William Thros Ekong, Atlanta forward Ademola Lookman, and England-based quarterback Ola Aina Semi Ajayi, Taiwo Owoni, and Wilfred Indidi are among the early arrivals at the camp for the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda. The players reported at their Uyo camp ahead of the two fixtures, which will see the team host the Cheetahs and Benin Republic on September 7th at Godswill Pabio International Stadium in Uyo before facing Amuvabi in Kigali 3 days later. The media team says only 11 players have arrived in camp as of the time of filing this report, with more players expected to join camp. And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using a Global TV NGN and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.